Hey y'all, Joefer here, the cranky old gay guy. Oh, it is Friday, January 3rd. Hello and welcome to the Cranky Old Gay Guy show. Yesterday was my birthday, so last night a friend took me out to dinner and then I went to play pool and I had a nice time. But today I am feeling my age and I am just tired, so exhausted. And it's not like I stayed out that late, but it was still... Today's subject is things that were once considered woo-woo, like, woo-woo things. I know that's some explanation, isn't it? What makes me cranky is not the woo-woo things I'm going to talk about, but people who dismiss them as woo-woo rather than have an open mind and actually consider them. And by that, I mean, in the past, historically, things that were once considered unbelievable and could never happen have happened. Look at the radio, the television, the cell phone, the internet. Back in medieval times, science and medicine, it was considered magic or it just couldn't happen. And it did. So the things I'm going to bring up today fall into that woo-woo realm, but I want you to consider that maybe they're woo-woo because we just haven't discovered them yet. First off, I would like to talk about, I have a little list here. Ooh boy, let's jump to the moon. That's right, the moon. Oh, that thing up in the sky at night that shines down on all of us. That thing that makes our tides come and go. The moon. Well, first off, kind of woo-woo, but conspiracy is the question of, did we as the United States go to the moon? Did we put people on the moon? Maybe, maybe not. In the 60s, there was a space race with Russia, so it is possible that the moon landing was staged just to show Russia that, the United States was the dominant power. If that is the case, then those videos and photos were forged. But I personally believe, if that was the case, we have since gone, and we have definitely, if not put man on the moon, we have put machines on the moon, and we have pictures and things. So I do think we've been to the moon. But if you go back to the 20s or the 1910s, even going into outer space was considered impossible. So what was once woo-woo then is now science. So that's one thing. And while we're on the moon, let's talk about the moon itself. Where did it come from? Did it just float there? Was it always there? There are verbal stories that were passed down from ancient civilizations, and some of those civilizations were Native American, that talked about a time when there was no moon. And then one day a moon just appeared and everything changed. Now there were tides, the global weather changed. Everything was different once a moon was in place. In some cultures, they say a dragon appeared in the sky and left this moon, this thing. Now, do I have citations of where I read these things? No, I read them online. I saw them in an online video. Some people may think that I do heavy research on everything I talk about. That is not the case. This is not a news station. I am just a guy who comes across things and wants to talk about them. If you're looking for heavy research, there are websites that consider themselves journalists, and that's probably where you should get your information. This stuff is just me talking about what interests me and what I come across. If I have a citation, it's because I took the time to write it down because I thought it was important. Let's say I'm going to link to an article. I will actually find that article. But these are things that I have heard about for years and years. So no, I was not taking notes. So if that's what you think that I need to be doing, then you're watching the wrong channel. Because there are plenty of channels out there that are documentary journalistic channels. This is not one of them. If you look on YouTube, this is listed as a lifestyle/entertainment. I was going to say vlog, but they don't have that as an option. I had it under blogs for a while, but really didn't fit either. So get back to the moon thing. Where did it come from? And then the next question would be, is it natural or was it manufactured by a intelligent species and brought here to help the planet? That's another theory. And while we're on the moon subject, is it hollow? There have been reports that there is a ringing sound that comes from inside the moon. Who's reporting this? Couldn't tell you. It's one of those things you hear on late night radio. It's one of those things that you see on the internet. There is something that is fascinating about that idea. And if it was to tie to the story that the moon wasn't always there, it would make sense that it was created and put in place to help the planet. Another theory is that it was a passing satellite planet that just got stuck in the Earth's orbit. Science will tell you that an asteroid hit the planet a long time ago, and a chunk of Earth flew off and got captured in the in the gravity field of Earth, and that is what the moon is. Since that time, it's been battered by asteroids and everything. That's why it's all pitted, and you look at it, you'll see the craters on the moon. I don't know how it happened. I wasn't there. I am just reporting, not a journalist, but I am just telling you what I have read and heard about. Question is it hollow? If it is a manufactured thing, is it just a big spacecraft? Is it just a big ball that's hollow? Is there something inside? Is it a machine? Is it alive? Do people live in it? Is there a base in it? Is there a base on the other side of the moon? These are all questions that come up that a lot of people will just dismiss as woo-woo rather than say, well, what if? If you are a fan of science fiction, you've either read about it or you've seen it in movies. Everything that I've mentioned is tied into these films and books. There was a movie a few years ago. I want to say it was Halle Berry. I think she was the star of it. But it was two astronauts that went to the moon, and they end up going inside the moon and discover that there is a space base. There's nobody there, but they find the spaceships and I want to say robots, but it's more like the base is autonomous and it does things, but I don't think there were any robots. It was moon-based something, or moon is in the title. I don't know what it is, but it was on, I believe, Netflix, and it was really slow and it did not make a lot of money at the box office when it was in the theaters. But if you are into science fiction, even though it's slow, it was a really good story, and it was another spin on the theory of what the moon is, where it came from. And that's something that I would recommend. Okay, we did the moon hollow. Speaking of hollow, now we're going to jump to, is the Earth hollow? Science, at least growing up, we were taught that there is a core, and then molten cores, and then like a rock core, and then Earth, the outer mantle. Is that true? I don't know. I don't know. If you look at movies like Journey to the Center of the Earth, Earth itself wasn't hollow, but there were hollow areas in it. If you look at the most recent iteration of films, who did it star? The lady with the big teeth. I don't remember her name either. Anyway, they took a trip inside the Earth, and the Earth's core had done something so the Earth wasn't spinning, and their mission was to reactivate the Earth's core by blowing up a nuclear bomb in the molten core. So they got in this machine that was kind of like a centipede, and they lost half of it on the way down. That's ruining the story for you. But it was supposed to be a sci-fi thriller. I found it kind of dumb, and I preferred Journey to the Center of the Earth from years ago, the one that had Pat Boone in it when he was young. And that was also a slow story, but it was much, much better than this new version. Let's see. Is the Earth hollow? Again, I don't know. It's something that I am open to. Not saying that it's fact, but I'm willing to consider it, sure. On that subject, we're going to move to cryptids, and we're going to talk about Bigfoot. What is Bigfoot? Is Bigfoot real? Is Bigfoot just a bear or something that we're misidentifying? Or is it another species that we don't know about? And where does it live? Does it have cloaking abilities where it can just disappear? Is it just really good at camouflage? Does it come from the hollow earth? Who's to say? Another theory is that it's an interdimensional being, and that's why no one's ever really caught one, because it lives in our dimension, but it's from another dimension, so it just kind of comes and goes. And speaking of dimensions, I am open to the multiverse theory. Years ago, that was called woo-woo science. Now, I think it is accepted that I think it was announced there were 6 dimensions, and then there were 11, and then there were 17. I don't know how many. Again, science fiction has played on the multidimensional theme quite a bit. And it's fascinating. Is it true? I don't know. But if it is true, our dimension has everything that we can see and touch. So why couldn't another dimension have something like that in their dimension? And if dimensions occur in the same place at the same time, but in different dimensions, is there not a possibility that they could cross and leak into each other? Hence the whole Bigfoot thing. It's also stated that UAPs or UFOs might be from another dimension, the same kind of thing. Again, just something to think about. And what's else on my list? Quantum. Let's go into quantum for a minute. And I don't mean Quantum Leap. That was a TV series that, again, was remade, and the remake wasn't that great. And I wasn't a big fan of the old one. I mean, it was interesting, the idea, but the fact that it's the same story over and over every week just really got boring for me. But let's talk about quantum computing. There was a time when it was thought that the quantum theory was an impossibility, because you're talking subatomic particles being controlled by man. Well, quantum computing is now a thing. It's been proven by science. IBM, China as a country, Google, they've all got quantum computing programs, and they're all competing to be the first to get a control of this and get it out there and be the world superpower of quantum computing. And what is quantum computing? Well, I actually wrote this down. It's the laws of quantum mechanics to simulate and solve complex problems that are too difficult for the current genre of classical computers that we have. So in the 20s, 30s, or 40s, transistors were created. And transistors are like on and off switches. And with a classical computer, you can have a 1 or a 0, which is like a yes or a no. And that strung together is what lets a computer compute. Well, with quantum computing, those are out the door, because now they have something called qubits, which are the minute subatomic Okay, I'm back again. I got another spam call and my phone turned off the video portion. Okay, so we were talking about transistors, and that's what allows the computer to operate with its ones and zeros. Well, with quantum computing, those are out the door, and using subatomic particles that are controlled by an electrical, I want to say magnetic, well, that's not right though, by electricity, let's just put it that way. You can now have these ones and zeros, not ones or zeros, but ones and zeros. They can be doing things simultaneously, which rather than check for this and check for this and check for this, now you can check for everything all at once. And that's what quantum computing is going to do, is speed everything up. Right now, they are still in test modes, but the 3 biggies, China, the country. IBM and Google are all racing to get this finished and be the dominant superpower in quantum computing. 60 Minutes did a really good expose on quantum computing last year, or in 2023. It's just a segment, but it explains what quantum computing is and where like Google and IBM are at right now. And I'm going to put a link in the description for that. So again, let me reiterate. These are all considered woo-woo science or fringe science, and they are not what make me cranky. What makes me cranky are people who dismiss them as being crazy because they don't understand them or they're not proven. Everything started as a theory once, but once that theory is proven, it becomes everyday science. So if someone can have an open mind and consider these things, great. But when they close the mind and don't consider it, that's what makes me cranky. If you like science fiction, if you read it or watched science fiction movies, everything I've talked about has been brought up in movies, and they kind of show you, they theorize, either they present it as real or they're just in theory, how these things can be true. So I think there are a world of infinite possibilities, and I am totally willing to consider things that are currently nothing, but could possibly be something. Society does change. If you look at flying saucers, UAPs, UFOs, at one point when it was reported on, the anchors at the news desk would snicker. They don't do that anymore. Now they will post a video and say, strange lights seen over Phoenix, Arizona on blah, 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 blah date. Mother, that damn spam call kicked me out of the video again. That makes me cranky. And on that, I'm going to just leave it. Everybody have a great Friday night and a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, Saturday. Bye-bye.
Down in the hollow earth we roam around, where the mysteries and the wild theories abound. Is there a city that's deep underground? Oh, the secrets they might just astound. Did we go to the moon, or was it all fake? Shadowy secrets that make the world quake. Bigfoot's hiding while we're out on the hunt, searching for truth on this curious jaunt. Flying saucers light up the night sky. Are they watching us now as we stand by? UFOs zooming with the blink of an eye. Oh, the stories they just magnify. Quantum computing, bending time and space. Numbers and theories running an endless race. Unlock the puzzles from an ancient place. Oh, the wonders we've yet to embrace. Did we go to the moon, or was it all fake? Shadowy secrets that make the world quake. Bigfoot's hiding while we're out on the hunt, searching for truth on this curious jaunt. Lights in the sky making people swoon. Are they coming for us or leaving soon? Mystery is buried in the afternoon, decoding legends with a catchy tune.